Hi,
Hi.
everyone. I'm Jody Schwan from Sioux Falls Business. Welcome to another edition of Talent Thursday. We always enjoy these conversations with our partners over at the Sioux Falls Development Foundation, and Denise Gazetta has another great guest for us today. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Jody. How are you? Happy Thursday.
Same. It's looking like spring around here, so we'll take it. And you've got a good one actually to lead us into now graduation season coming. Lots of people maybe looking for that next job, that first job, and we've got a good one for them today.
Absolutely. So I'm so thrilled that Nicole Jensen is able to join us from LifeScape. LifeScape is one of my very most favorite places in the world. They just do so many amazing things. So they're so innovative. And most people don't necessarily know that. So we have Nicole here to kind of tell us more about their story and kind of lead us through.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for being here. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to LifeScape.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, ladies. So I'm Nicole Jensen. I'm the talent acquisition director here at LifeScape, and I have been with LifeScape for the last 17 years. I actually started my journey at LifeScape when I was going to Augustana College at the time for my pre-med path. I knew that I needed to get some contact hours, work with a population, and I knew I was really passionate about pediatrics. And so that led me to LifeScape. They have an unscheduled part-time or kind of a PRN status that allowed a flexible schedule for me to work while I was going to school. It could be as many or as little hours as I wanted and gave me the opportunity to work in that pediatric field and work with children that had cognitive or intellectual disabilities, which was not in my repertoire of skills. But I really fell in love with the population that we support. And as Denise mentioned, we have really innovative ways that we interact with our children, and it allows for some children and adults to be able to receive services that they might not be able to receive in their own community.
Yeah, I mean, we just actually had the privilege of running a story with LifeScape about a family from Wisconsin who came to Sioux Falls for the kind of therapy that they needed for their child. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, we have an organization that offers, that sort of level of service right here.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have heard of LifeScape, but they don't know the full variety of different disciplines that we have here. We have two different outpatient locations that support maybe orthotics and prosthetics. And then we have another location that has more behavior therapy services. So we actually have a piece of equipment that most people don't know that we have. It's called a star scanner for kiddos who have different types of needs for cranial fitting and molding. And so we see a high population there. And then we also have, a nice option of speech language pathology, occupational therapy, physical therapy, as well as behavior therapy services in both of those locations as well. And so I think it's a great place for families to receive all of those same services that they've previously maybe had to get outside of Sioux Falls or at multiple different clinics, all in the same location.
Then, Denise, the
Awesome.
demand for these fields is just huge. As students, if you're watching or even if you're considering a change in your career or, some ongoing training, boy, you can't say enough about this field.
No, you can't say enough about this field, and you can't say enough about this employer. I mean, just a wonderful employer. It's every time I go into LifeScape, and I've been in LifeScape several times and Nicole and I've worked together with these talented high schoolers that we have in our community, and getting them exposed. But you're right. You get involved, you walk into one of their facilities, and it's just amazing. And I learned something every single time that I didn't know before. I do want to highlight how many jobs, though. If you guys can see this is my kind of little whiteboard here. We are adding over 10,000 jobs in the healthcare sector in the next 10 years. Just phenomenal. And it's also nice to see that, you have these employers that are expanding, but what's also happening with wage too, which is also going up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Nicole, I'm sure there's no shortage of opportunities at LifeScape for you to speak about. But what are some, that are particularly in demand or maybe might be of interest to people watching?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I mentioned, kind of my journey started with, at the time, kind of a direct care position. So I think a lot of people who are pre-nursing, pre-therapy, pre-education, pre-bio, pre-med are going to be able to see a lot of opportunities here. We have a patient care technician position that's working in our specialty hospital with some of our kiddos who may have vents, trachs, G&J tubes. And so that's a great option for people who might want something different than maybe one of the major campuses for the hospitals, where they can be in pediatrics, but be in maybe a little bit smaller setting. We also have behavior support technicians. And so we have recently kind of partnered with Southeast program for their behavioral and mental health technician program, for individuals to have more tools in their toolkit for some of the things that have been on the horizon, whether that be mental health, co-occurring behavioral and mental health complexities. So that is an option. And then we also do have direct support professionals that work with our adults. So whatever people's interests are, whatever the populations that they've worked with in the past, LifeScape has those options, and they're very flexible for students and otherwise for people who are looking for personal and professional growth as well.
That's what I was gonna say. This is a great way to get in the door very early, build some work experience and get to know the organization. Do you have a lot of students who work with you in different capacities?
A lot of students. I mean, I would say almost all of our kind of unscheduled part-time or PRN positions are held by students. And again, it's a great way they can do kind of their flexible schedule during the school year. And then a lot of them are with us full-time over the summer. So they can get all of the hours that they want and then kind of keep that status to be something that works for them while they're going to school. People also don't know that we have a variety of other positions that they might not have thought about. Right now, we have an auto tech position open. We do have an IT department. We also have an accounts payable position available. So, we have a lot of positions that people wouldn't anticipate that we would have. So if people have a particular niche, I always have them reach out and or check out the website, because we might have a social worker, we might have a maintenance worker. And so there's something for everyone. Our mission is to empower people to live their best life. And there's so many people who are included in making that happen.
I learned something, Denise, every time we do these. And I mean, here, I wouldn't have known that. And yet, where my head goes and the talent that you work with, they want to be a part of something meaningful, right? And I mean, what an opportunity if you have an IT background or whatever the crossover field may be to get into an organization where you can serve like this.
And I'll add, I was just on the phone with somebody that went from, primary education, right? Decided to take that and transfer into another area.
Yep.
Just like Nicole was saying, she had this experience in college and it kind of changed the trajectory for her. I do think, when you get involved and you start seeing the amazing work that's done, especially at LifeScape, you just can't help but be, I think so impacted by it. I mean, I've met with the CEO several times. We've had a lot of panels at our Women Workforce Summit, and people always walk away and they're saying, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I had to, the moment when you were talking about the diesel mechanic in some of these areas, I just kind of put on my little hat there and started thinking about all the different ways that now I could just see different possibilities. But I'll let you kind of talk to some of those needs, because I've seen people, again, take from one skill set where they're delivering and they're successful and they're happy, but then they become involved at LifeScape and they put a lot of energy, but also they're able to do a lot of innovative things to help these kids. So it's just amazing.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot here, Nicole, but do you know offhand about how many people work for LifeScape? Because it's a big employer, and I think people don't realize that in the community.
Yeah, so we're the 13th largest employer the last time that I checked. We have about 1,300 employees. And so we, are constantly growing. We have so many children on our waiting list that need services. And so, the challenge of ours is always to look for locations where we can continue to provide those services, but also the workforce that coincides with doing that. So those are the things that we have in the balance of course, at all times.
Well, that's just it. So a lot of the needs that a large employer has are here, in addition to those direct care pieces.
Right. Yep.
Those support type roles and those leadership roles too. I'm guessing you have a lot of people who have grown their careers within the organization, who maybe start one place and then progress.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak for myself. You know, as I mentioned, I started as a direct care staff when I was in college, and I moved to a lead direct support professional. And then from there, I became the coordinator of support services, overseeing an area within children's services. And I was really passionate about kind of growing staff. And so there's staff today who 8 years ago, before I joined the talent team, were staff with me and are still with LifeScape today, but in a different capacity, whether that's a special education teacher, maybe they're a board certified behavior analyst. We want to help people find what they want to do. And a lot of people don't know what they want to do when they're 18, 19, 20. And so the exposure that they get to all of the other disciplines that I mentioned is really that kind of journey that we talk about for people. It's your journey and we want to help you to be there. But following my CSS role, I got my master's and progressed into human resources. And I started off as a recruiter, senior recruiter, manager of talent acquisition, and today the director. And so, I mean, there's so many different options for people to follow their own path. And so we want to make that happen. And so that's part of the reason that we're here too, is that we have such amazing staff who do such amazing things every single day. And so we want to keep those skills here and continue to grow them personally and professionally.
So people want, right, Denise?
Absolutely. They want to be involved in a good cause. They want to be part of the community, which LifeScape is. And they also want to have that growth and opportunity upward. So I love hearing everything and I see it. I see it every time I walk in and I can see the happiness, you know, and we've had even some people inside this office that have had, you know, family members that have been patients at LifeScape, and they all say the same thing. It's just a wonderful environment, a lot of good work. So
the other thing that comes to mind for me, and maybe both of you have noticed this, is I always see a real culture of innovation within LifeScape, which I think people might not expect, but this is a very cutting edge organization too. So if you are someone that likes that sort of pace of change and innovative environment, I feel like this could be a fit.
Yeah, we are not afraid. I mean, I think that is one of the reasons that people seek out LifeScape services, is because we are out of the box, that families may have received services elsewhere and maybe hit some different kind of roadblocks. And we try to break those down and make sure that people, you know, that we try things that people may not have tried before, or that we try a different service line or whatever that might look like. And so constantly looking, you know, for the newest, latest, greatest, to make sure that the children and adults that we support have the best level of services that we can provide.
Right. Well, you know, summer is in sight. Is it too late for that summer job or that internship at LifeScape? What do you guys maybe have available?
No, never too late. Seasonal employment is a little bit difficult for us just because of the level of training that some of our staff have. So that one is a little bit tricky. However, we have internships all the time, whether that be therapy related, nursing, education. So we can have those conversations with students who have an interest, if they want to do a tour, if they just are more interested in learning about the services, we can have those discussions and again, set up an opportunity for them to visit that location. So there is nothing that we wouldn't do to, you know, continue to have the community know about the services that we provide and the different opportunities that are available to them and their families as well.
Nice. Best way to reach out, Nicole, what would you recommend?
A slew of options. We're all over social media. We have Facebook, we have LinkedIn. We also have our LifeScape page at lifescapesd.org/careers that people can look at and check out for the openings at any time. And then my information is plastered on those job sites as well, my extension and email. So people can contact us anytime about any of the opportunities that they see, or if they have any questions, we'd be happy to talk with them and answer them for them as well.
awesome.
Terrific. Denise, final thoughts from you?
No, just great. Thank you, Nicole, because it's always something new. I'm still gonna kind of let that diesel, you know, mechanic kind of percolate there, but I think that will come back around. But no, thank you for everything that you guys do and all of the support and partnership in our community. So just a pleasure to spend time with you today. So thank you.
Yes, no, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
I will echo that. Thank you for everything you do, the opportunities that you provide for people, and most importantly, the service that you deliver in the community, because it is it's absolutely huge and life-changing. So thanks very much, guys. A great conversation. We'll be back with you again next week. I know Denise has these guests lined up, you know, from here to I don't even know when. So get ready for another great Talent Thursday week from now. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching.
Bye.